Hey everyone, it's been over 2 minutes and I haven't been raped yet. Not even by a cab driver. Hi, I'm Diana Davison, and as I head out to the airport, in a cab, I wanted to address the recent attacks against Canadian Judge Gregory Linehan for saying clearly a drunk can consent in the course of his verdict on a sexual assault trial in Nova Scotia. Let's explore the insanity. Quick summary of the case. A police officer came upon a cab that was pulled over and she noticed a woman's feet sticking up, propped up against the back of the seats. The officer rightly arrested the cab driver when she discovered a woman completely passed out on the back seat, naked from the waist down, and the cabbie in the front seat with his pants unbuttoned. He was also shoving the woman's pants out of sight. When Judge Linehan acquitted the cab driver, he said, "Clearly, a drunk can consent," as part of his verdict, and the internet went insane. Well, this is not the first time this trick has been employed. Judge Robin Camp just resigned after a very public inquiry when the internet was told he asked a woman why she didn't just keep her knees together. In Camp's case, the second trial acquitted the man also, noting that the sex couldn't have happened the way the woman described it. Why didn't you keep your knees together, in context, was a judge trying to figure out how the sex took place while the woman was sitting in a sink and said that her legs were dangling over the edge of the counter. The social media trick here is to take a single quote out of context and exploit it for political gain. But back to Judge Linehan. First thing most people don't know about drunks can consent Linehan, well, there was no sex in this case. Nothing. No digital penetration, no oral, no skin-on-skin contact at all. The sexual assault under scrutiny in this case consisted of one act: removal of the woman's pants. That's it. That's the entire sexual act. Remember this. The act we are looking at consists completely of removing a woman's pants or assisting her to do so while she was in his cab. Second thing, the pants in question were soaked in urine because the woman had peed them. Like, full-on peed her pants. So the judge is deciding whether or not this woman, in her drunken state, decided that she wanted her peed-in pants to come off her body, or whether the cab driver simply ended up helping her take them off, or whether the cabbie took them off the woman after she passed out. Again, remember this. No sex, and the pants that came off had been peed through, and the woman might have said, "Oh my God, I just peed my pants. I gotta take them off," ignoring that she was still in public. So the judge had to decide, did the cabbie, who was still in the front seat, remove the pants without invitation? The judge was not deciding whether or not the woman agreed to have sex, because there was no sex. Does the headline, "Clearly a drunk can consent," Halifax judge says in acquitting taxi driver charged with sexual assault, written by Haley Ryan on March 1st, actually convey the story accurately? To be fair to Ms. Ryan, the writers don't pick their headlines, and when you read the article, it's quite clear that the question at hand was whether or not the woman consented to her pants being removed. And even better, Ryan provided the transcript of the oral verdict in a scribed link, so she actually allowed the readers, if they wanted, to go look at the full decision. Bravo, Ms. Ryan. Unfortunately, no one paid attention, and everyone assumed that the consent in question was based on an actual sexual encounter because of the headline, or because they wanted to twist the tale for their own political purpose. About 35,000 people now, upstanding and illiterate citizens, have signed a petition to have the judge removed from the bench and sent off in disgrace. Bulletin. Judge Linehan didn't say that this woman consented to sex. The only thing he had to decide was whether or not this woman decided she wanted to take off the pants she'd just peed in. And she couldn't remember if she'd done that. Here's a possibility the judge had to consider. Was the cab driver trying to get directions from his fare when she suddenly announced that she was peeing her pants, and he pulled over when she started removing them? This particular cabbie was suing the city because the police damaged his vehicle and he was out of business for 4 days. So if someone says she's peeing in his back seat after he just got his cab going again, it's possible he said, "Holy fuck, don't pee on my seats," and assisted her in removing the pants. The police officer, when she found them, found the cab driver still in his driver's seat. His pants were undone and he had plumber's butt going on, but his seat was reclined and he was turned around towards the woman in the back seat. His pants were not found halfway down, and it's possible that he undid them to facilitate his position in leaning into the back seat, to save his back seat from getting peed on. So this is what the judge was deciding. DNA was found on the cabbie's upper lip. The judge decided the DNA likely came from the urine on his hands after handling the pee pants. Imagine how grossed out the cab driver was when police told him that he wiped this chick's urine on his upper lip. He's probably still grossed out every time he thinks of it. Now, I don't know what would have happened if the police officer hadn't arrived when she did. No one knows. But we do know what she didn't find. She didn't find the cab driver having sexual interactions with the passed out drunk girl. What I want to know is why they charged this guy with sexual assault instead of attempted sexual assault. If they'd laid the right charge, maybe they would have gotten a conviction. On the other hand, if they'd laid the proper charge, maybe a cab driver trying to save his back seat might have been wrongfully convicted of trying to rape a drunk chick who peed in his car. That's why we have trials. Meanwhile, unlike the Robin Camp situation, the Canadian Bar Association is standing up for their members and told the public to have a little bit of respect. It's about freaking time. This mob-style justice needs to end. The courts are designed with an exaggerated, respectful language for a reason. We don't find facts and get fair judgments while screaming obscenities at each other irrationally. Even more, we don't get justice by taking a sentence, or a partial sentence, at a context and being too busy to read the full verdict. Reality is this. Drunks can and do consent to sex all the time. And in this case, no one actually had sex. Ask yourself one thing. Is it possible that an extremely drunk chick wanted to take her pants off after she'd peed in them? That's the question that Judge Gregory Linehan had to answer.
Here in my car, I know I started to think about leaving tonight. You know, nothing seems right in car.